Welcome back to the JOTO Show. I'm the host, Jay Lakers, and Tony Polini.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is episode 4 of the JOTO Show. I'm actually out of town right now, but we still got to get these episodes out. So let's get into it.
Oh, I didn't know you were out of town.
Yep. What's going on, sports world? First off, I'd like to shout out the NHL. The preseason has officially started. We will be sure to update you guys when the regular season starts, but just want to quickly mention that the preseason has started. Derwin James Jr. was suspended for one game for violating safety rules on multiple helmet tackles. One of the more recent ones was against Pat Freiermuth on the Steelers. They suspended him for a game. He will be out against the Chiefs next week.
Dang.
Well,
What
Will
the
Levis did it again. That's all
hell?
that needs to really be said. This is a picture of him getting sacked. It adds to his collection of craziest pictures he's had every week.
Can they any crazier?
There was another one of him trying to hurdle over a guy, but he didn't even get the first down, and it was on fourth down where he tried it. So that the context makes that one funny. And yeah, we have. Speaking of the Titans, we have them at 0-3, alongside these felines, the Jaguars and the Bengals. We'll talk more about them in a second.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. But it's time for our primetime games. Starting off, we have Thursday Night Football, where the New England Patriots lost to the New York Jets. The Patriots, they looked good in the first week. They won, obviously. The second week, they looked all right. They brought the Seahawks to overtime. This week, couldn't even put in a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers had a great game. 281 yards, 27 for 35, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jacoby Brissett only had 98 yards, no touchdowns. And the reason he only had 98 is because they subbed in Drake May for a few reps. Just get some regular season experience for the rookie. 22 yards only, 4 for 8, no touchdowns, obviously.
Exactly.
Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we had the Chiefs going to Atlanta and beating the Falcons 22-17. This game, how do I say this? This game went down to the refs again, just like last week.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs, while on defense, in a play that was aimed for the end zone, Kyle Pitts runs a little route, whatever, kind of beats his man. And then the defender goes on to hug the guy, basically just kind of tackle him before the ball even gets there. It was very close, but at the same time, any given day outside of the Chiefs being on the defense there, that's a flag.
Yeah.
I feel like. Obviously, I'm not gonna say the Chiefs were completely refed out of the game because the Falcons were given a lot of opportunities as well. So it's on the Falcons that they couldn't do anything outside of that. On a 4th and 1 or 4th and inches, you decide to go an outside run instead of a, QB sneak or, run inside. Chiefs stopped that, and that was basically the game sealer. Mahomes had 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kirk Cousins had 230 yards, 20 for 29, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Okay.
Dang. Holy
Absolute destruction on Monday night. The Jaguars went to Buffalo and got mollywopped.
Mario
To
up.
to put it one way. Um, the game got really bad that both teams put in their backup QBs.
No way.
Yep. Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns in the first half alone. He had 263 yards. It was a really good game for Josh Allen. 4 touchdowns by himself in the first half, throwing TDs. He also had a couple rushing ones from his running backs. Total of 6 touchdowns.
Wow.
Trevor Lawrence on the other side had 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And as for the backups who came in, Mitch Trubisky came in for 1 throw. He went 1 for 1 for 3 yards. And Mac Jones came in, threw for 14 yards on 4 of 7, no touchdowns. And yeah, Bills win 47-10.
Jeez. I'm very not happy with this next primetime days. You know why?
You
I
want to
wasn't.
talk about it?
It was okay. It was a close game, 38-32. We do have an injured player on the Bengals, and we'll get to the injury players when we go to the wherever on here. Joe Brewer did okay beginning that first touchdown. Then that team, the percentage was supposed to be the Bengals was the favorite of the team to win, and they lost. And they have a game next week. We'll talk about later.
Yeah, this matchup was supposed to be the LSU Heisman duel between the quarterbacks. Bengals just obviously continue to struggle being 0-3 now, so hopefully they can pick up the pace. Joe Burrow had 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. So on paper, his stats look great. Look like a winning team's, um, you know,
Yeah.
stat line. Jaden Daniels had 254 yards with 2 touchdowns. He had 2 passing touchdowns, so he got his first career touchdown this game. You want to know who it was to? An offensive lineman.
Mm.
We had a big boy touchdown for Jaden Daniels' first career touchdown.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
So
forgot
that's
about that one. I was watching the game. I
yep.
forgot about that.
Yep, so that's going to be brought up for a trivia question eventually.
Okay, let's go on next. Right.
Moving on from our prime time, we have our Sunday afternoon slate of games. So we have a few games. I want to probably skim through these. I'll give out the stats of each quarterback, score, and all of that. So let's begin. New York Giants at Cleveland Browns. Giants win 21-15. Daniel Jones had 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. Great game for him. Deshaun Watson continues to still kind of struggle, but also play decent. 196 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I like the way you did
Not
the
a bad
colorful,
game.
the
Yeah.
names and the numbers colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
The colored number is the winning team. Um, Moving on, Philadelphia Eagles went to New Orleans and beat the Saints 15-12. Very low scoring game, which is a surprise from the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jalen Hurts had 311 yards, no touchdowns thrown, and 1 interception. Derek Carr had 142 yards, 1 touchdown, and a costly interception that costed them the game in their game-winning potential drive that they had. He threw an interception, I believe, on the first play, maybe the second play. But yeah, sealed the deal there for the Eagles to get that win.
Mm.
Houston Texans at Minnesota Vikings. This was a surprise to a lot of people, including myself. CJ Stroud could only muster 1 touchdown and threw 2 interceptions, while also throwing 215 yards. Sam Darnold had 181 yards for 4 touchdowns. for 4 touchdowns, which I believe a stat came up that it was his most in like a while. Aaron Jones at running back had 102 yards rushing because they had a big lead, so they were gonna run more. Still a good rushing day for him. And the game got so bad, obviously, with the score like this, that Davis Mills came in for the Texans, threw 7 for 12, threw 12 passes for 79 yards. Yeah, Vikings win 34-7. Another surprise game here. The Denver Broncos went to Tampa Bay and won 26-7. This is Bo Nix's first career win as an NFL quarterback. He had 216 yards, no touchdowns thrown this game. He did rush for 1, pretty good. NFC South is playing kind of like last year, it seems, with just kind of bad games. It seems. Baker had 163 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Wasn't too good of a game for Baker. Broncos win 26-7. The Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans. Packers win 30-14. This was Malik Willis's revenge game. Former Tennessee Titan for Malik, which traded during preseason to Green Bay. He had 202 yards and 1 touchdown. Also rushed for 73 yards on 6 attempts. Will Levis, as we mentioned with the famous photo, that he got this game too, but had 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Packers win 30-14. Then we had the Chicago Bears going to Indianapolis, taking on the Colts. This was a great performance. Besides the score, this was a great performance by Caleb Williams. He had over 300 yards. Great statistical game for the most part for the Bears, but still losing to the Colts. Caleb, as mentioned, had 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Anthony Richardson had 167 yards, so not that much. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. On paper, if you look at the quarterback stats alone, you would think the Bears won this game. But 16-21, Colts win. LA Chargers go to Pittsburgh. First thing I'd like to mention is Justin Herbert left early with an injury. We'll get to that later on in our injury report. Had 125 yards and 1 touchdown.
I was watching this whole game on Sunday.
So Taylor Heineke was his replacement. Threw 2 passes, completed both for 24 yards, but got sacked a couple times, so not the best performance. Justin Fields had 245 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Steelers win 20-10.
Yeah, I was watching that game.
Next up, we had Miami Dolphins going to Seattle. This just wasn't a good game for Miami. One thing I learned from this game, because I was watching this one, they just can't win without Tua, it seems. Skylar Thompson also got injured this game on a tackle. He had 107 yards, no touchdowns when he left. They had Tim Boyle sub in for him, who threw for 79 yards. As for the other side of the game here, the Seahawks with Geno Smith, 289 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Seahawks win 24-3. Oh boy, these next few games hurt a little. The Carolina Panthers went to Las Vegas.
They finally won the first game.
They got their first win, and Andy Dalton just was him that day. Yeah, so the Carolina Panthers went to Las Vegas. Andy Dalton had a great game. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 319 yards. This is actually Dalton's first time throwing for 3+ touchdowns since he was a Saint back in New Orleans 2 years ago.
I remember that.
Yep. Those 3 touchdowns he had were in the first half, actually. So, yeah, great game for him. Gardner Minshew for the Raiders had 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He then later got benched for Aiden O'Connell, who had 82 yards and 1 touchdown. Panthers win 36-22. Moving on to a game I just genuinely don't want to talk about.
It's only a 3-point
It was
game.
but they hurt to watch. It was the Niners going to Levi South and losing to the LA Rams. Niners did not have Debo, did not have Kittle, did not have McCaffrey this game. Rams, on the other hand, did not have Puka Nacua nor Cooper Kupp this game either, so can't really make an excuse there. Jawan Jennings, he played amazing. He had 3 touchdowns to himself, receiving. But it was just the Niners kind of blew it. Niners had a lead heading into the fourth, but they just couldn't hold on to it. The Rams just kept pushing through and through to eventually score, tied the game up, and with a chance to win the game, Ronnie Bell dropped a pass that would have gave them a first down, and the Rams would have been forced to use all their timeouts, and they could have just kneeled the ball if they got one more first down. But with that drop, Rams got the ball back, and they got in field goal range immediately. So they made a field goal, took the lead, and Rams won 24. Sorry. Rams won 27-24. What's so funny?
The way you said it backwards. 24-20.
Moving on, we have the Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. Jared Goff had a pretty good game. This was a redemption game after last week losing to the Buccaneers. And Arizona, they stuck with them. It was kind of a low-scoring game, you would say, for both of these teams. Jared Goff had 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, while Kyler Murray had 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Lions win 20-13. And finally, to finish our Sunday afternoon games, we had the Baltimore Ravens at Dallas taking on the Cowboys.
First win for the Baltimore Ravens of the year. First win, week 3.
Yep. Their first win. And as for all the 0-2 teams, there was 9 of them. 6 of them won this week or last week. While obviously the previously mentioned Titans, Bengals, Jaguars all lost their games. As for the 2-0 teams like Houston, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, all of those teams, they went 5-4 the last week. But back to the Ravens. It wasn't a close game. It was 28-6 to start the fourth quarter. At least it wasn't a close game until near the end because the Cowboys went on to score 19 points in the fourth quarter alone to bring it to 28-25, but they couldn't finish the run to complete the comeback. And Derrick Henry had a pretty good game as well. For the Ravens, Lamar had 182 yards, only passed it 15 times and completed it 12 of those times. One of them for a touchdown. So not really slinging it much, but yeah. As for Dak Prescott, he had to pass it 51 times. 28 of them got completed. 2 touchdowns, 379 yards. But in the end, Ravens win 28-25. So that brings us to our week 3 standings. Some of these teams are tied with other teams, but they have a tiebreaker due to either beating a team in their division or just having more points or something along those lines.
If we take away from the 2-1 teams, there's only 4 teams there undefeated. You can see on the screen.
5.
Oh, 5 teams, my bad. Seahawks, Vikings, Bills, Kansas, and Steelers. Sorry,
Yep.
I don't know why I say 4. My bad.
You go. But yeah, in the East we have the Commanders in the NFC and the Bills in the AFC. Commanders, obviously, we saw on Monday night. Same with the Bills. Both got their wins. Eagles are at 2-1 as well, so they're just behind the Commanders due to tiebreak between the division. And the Jets are 2-1, so they are trailing the Bills by a game. In the West, the Seahawks are 3-0, and the Chiefs are also 3-0. Everyone else in the NFC West is 1-2, while the Chargers are the ones trailing the Chiefs. They are 2-1. In the North, we have the Vikings and Steelers both at 3-0. Lions and Packers are 2-1 for the NFC, trailing the Vikings. And in the AFC North, Baltimore and Cleveland are 1-2. So Steelers still are ahead by 2 games.
And 0-3 for the Bengals.
And to finish it off, in the South, Saints are 2-1, Texans are 2-1. Buccaneers are tied with the Saints at 2-1, but the Saints beat the Panthers week 1, so they have the tiebreaker there. While the Buccaneers haven't played a division rival yet. And in the AFC, the Texans are ahead by a game over the Colts. The Jaguars and Titans are both 0-3. So they are behind.
Next.
Time for our section we are bringing back. It's been 3 weeks. So it's time to mention our pick six, which, if you don't recall from our first episode, is our season ending injuries or surgeries. So we have 6 guys for you to talk about today, starting with Derek Brown from the Panthers. He suffered a meniscus tear and had to get surgery back in the week 1 loss to the Saints. Derek Brown being potentially the most valuable player on the Panthers. So losing him for the season was very bad. It showed in the very next week. And then Andy Dalton came in and beat the Raiders in week 3. So this loss is big, but Panthers can still win games.
The next.
Our next guy, Juwan Bentley from the Patriots, suffered a torn pectoral, which is around the shoulder and chest area. Suffered this back in week 2 in the loss against the Seahawks. Great defender. Obviously, missing him because you don't have Judon anymore. So losing him was obviously a big loss. And it showed in the Jets' loss as well, week 3.
And next.
Next is Marcus Davenport from the Lions. Suffered an elbow injury in the win against the Cardinals previous Sunday. Great defender. Always hurts to lose a good player, especially to Davenport's caliber. And yeah. Next guy is another Marcus we have here. Marcus Epps from the Raiders suffered a torn ACL in the loss against the Panthers. Not the best defender on the Raiders when you have guys like Max Crosby and Jack Jones, but still losing a safety in Marcus Epps is a big loss for the Raiders.
Wow. Next.
Next is Javon Hargrave from the 49ers, who suffered a partially torn tricep in the loss against the Rams. Great defender, always helped Bosa on the other side of the defensive line. Yeah, just a big loss for the Niners. And our final player.
Yep. I was watching the Bengals game and I saw this happen.
Yeah, Trent Brown suffered a torn patellar tendon in the loss against the Commanders.
Yep.
Great player for the O-line to protect Joe Burrow.
Past three games for Bengals, it's been close games. Week 1, week 2, and week 3.
Yeah. So no Trent Brown for the season. The Bengals will have to rely on their rookie now, Amarius Mims, to protect Joe Burrow in the pocket.
Yep. Next is the injury reports.
These are other notable injuries that weren't season-ending. We have a lot of these. We have 2 pages worth, actually, so try to speed run through these. In Arizona, Trey McBride suffered a concussion, so he's in concussion protocol. He's got to pass a test to get out of the protocol. Otherwise, he will be out indefinitely. Myles Garrett has a foot injury and reported by his coach. He's day-to-day, but potentially looking to return for this coming week. Adam Thielen from Carolina suffered a hamstring injury. He will be placed in IR, so that is a minimum of 4 games that he will miss.
Holy, yeah, there's 3 and 4. 3 from the Detroit and 4 from the Chargers. Jeez.
Yep, we got a lot of injuries from a lot of these games. Continuing with what we got here, Sam Laporta suffered an ankle injury. He is day-to-day, according to Dan Campbell. As for this player right here, Derek Barnes, he suffered a knee injury and is more than likely being placed in IR, which, as mentioned, will be a minimum 4 games. And Brian Branch, to finish off the lines, we have a concussion on him, so he's also in the concussion protocol. Him and McBride collided with each other, so that's why they both have concussions. In the Chargers, we have Justin Herbert with an ankle injury. He is questionable to return next week against the Chiefs. He re-aggravated an ankle injury he suffered previously. So, yeah. As for his O-linemen, we have Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater both out for next week. Joe Alt suffered an MCL sprain and Rashawn Slater suffered a pectoral injury. Both have already been listed out for the Chiefs game. And to cap off the Chargers, Joey Bosa suffered a hip injury in his first snap of the game against the Steelers. He is questionable for week 4. And then to finish this first page, New Orleans O-lineman Eric McCoy suffered a groin injury, and this one's a big one. He is out 6 to 8 weeks.
Jeez.
Nearly 2 months worth. We continue on. We have a lot of injuries in Miami, starting off with Skylar Thompson, who had a rib injury. He is day-to-day, potentially going to be playing next week. We don't know 100% yet. There is still Tim Boyle. There is still Tyler Huntley that could be used for Miami. As for Teron Armstead, there's not much better players like him they can replace in Miami. He suffered a concussion, and with any concussion, you're put in the protocol, must pass that to return back to participating Same goes with Kendall Fuller, also suffered a concussion. And then Philadelphia's Lane Johnson and Devonta Smith also suffered concussions in their win against the Saints. In Pittsburgh, we had 3 injuries. Alex Highsmith suffered a groin injury. He will be out a couple of weeks. Van Jefferson suffered an eye injury. He is questionable for week 4. And rookie Troy Fautanu suffered a knee injury around his kneecap, dislocated kneecap, and he is out for a while, but the earliest they've reported was potentially playoffs.
Jeez.
So he is gone until potentially January.
Wow.
In San Francisco, Brock Purdy is suffering with a sore back right now. He is day to day. Hopefully he can return. But yeah, sore back never too good. Chidobe Awuzie in Tennessee suffered a groin injury. He will be placed in IR, so that's a minimum of 4 games. And to finish this off, Austin Eckler in Washington got a concussion, so he was put in the protocol.
Next is week 4, a recap of NCAA football.
Yep. We're going to lightning round these because we have about 25 ranked teams, so a lot of games to go through. Texas Longhorns hosted the UL Monroe Warhawks. Texas won 51-3.
There you go again, mixing numbers up.
I saw the number 4.
Oh, because week 4.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Next game, Ohio State, ranked 3rd, hosted Marshall and the Thundering Herd. They win 49-14.
Jeez.
The Buckeyes, that is.
Yeah. I know.
We had Ole Miss, ranked 5th, hosting Georgia Southern. Eagles mustered up 13 points to the Rebels 52. Ole Miss wins 52-13. We had 2 ranked teams go against each other.
10-point game.
It was a 10-point game between the Volunteers and Oklahoma. The Sooners, ranked 15th, lost to Tennessee, ranked 6th, 25-15.
Jeez.
Then we had Missouri hosting Vanderbilt
By 3
in a
points.
3-point win for Missouri. The Commodores nearly pulled the upset against the Tigers, but Missouri wins 30-27. And then we had Miami taking on South Florida. The Hurricanes went to South Florida and won 50-15. Big win for them.
Yeah. We're still on week 4 recap of NCAA football.
Yeah, we got a lot. Got 3 pages worth. We had USC Trojans going to Michigan, ranked 18th, and losing by 3. Michigan wins 27-24. Next, we had 2 ranked teams again. We had the 12-ranked Utah Utes going to Oklahoma State, who are ranked 14th, and winning 22-19.
Jeez.
Then we had 13-ranked Kansas State go to BYU and actually lose to the Cougars 38-9. Moving on now, we had LSU hosting the UCLA Bruins and winning 34-17.
Joe Brewer and Smart Chase from LSU.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Notre Dame ranked 17th, taking on Miami, Ohio. and winning 28-3. And then we had 19th ranked Louisville taking on Georgia Tech, winning 31-19. Then we got the 20th ranked Iowa State Cyclones taking on the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Cyclones won that 52-7. Next was 21 ranked Clemson taking on NC State, winning 59-35 over the Wolfpack. We had two ranked teams here. 24 ranked Illinois took on 22 ranked Nebraska. And the Cornhuskers lost in OT, 31-24. Then we had the Northern Illinois Huskies losing to the Buffalo Bulls here, 23-20. This was an upset because Northern Illinois was ranked 23rd. And to cap it all off for our ranked teams, we had Texas A&M taking on Bowling Green. Falcons made this a close one, losing 20-26 against the Aggies. But we have more games to talk about, like our usual big stats ones. Like our highest total with overtime was my San Jose State Spartans losing 52-54 to the Washington State Cougars. That's 106 points in total.
How many games they lost so far?
That's their first loss.
Holy crap! Dang.
We had two games with the same differential here. One was a shutout, one was not. We had the Youngstown State Penguins going to Pittsburgh and losing 17-73. And we also had the Penn State Nittany Lions, ranked 10th, shutting out the Kent State Golden Flashes.
Holy mamma mia!
Yep, holy mamma mia. 120 points were scored in this game, and there wasn't even overtime. James Madison scored 70 points on North Carolina's 50 points for a total of 120. And to cap it all off, here is Jay Lakers with his Bearcats.
34-0 over Houston, and we have last time they won big. It was against Navy, 42-0 in 2018. Last time they won big. That's crazy. Big win for the Bearcats is against the Navy, 42-0 in 2018. That is a lot.
Yeah.
There's the top 25, Week 4 top 25 bye. You have Georgia, Alabama, and Oregon Ducks. Number 2 ranked, number 4, number 9. And NCAA Week 5 AP top 25. That means ranks.
Yep, we have a couple of new teams here, so that means a couple got eliminated. But going over, skimming through this, Ole Miss moves down to 6, while Tennessee moves up to 5. Miami moves up to 7. Oregon moves up to 8. Penn State to 9. Utah to 10. Missouri down to 11. Michigan moves up to 12, while USC goes down to 13th. LSU takes 14th. Louisville goes up to 15th. Notre Dame goes up 1 to 16th. Clemson moves up to 17th. Iowa State moves up 2 to 18th. Illinois moves up to 19th. Oklahoma State moves down 6 spots to 20th. and Oklahoma moves down 6 spots to 21st. And our first new team, BYU, moves to 22nd, obviously beating the Kansas State Wildcats, who are 23rd now. Texas A&M moves up 1 spot to 24. And our other new team is Boise State, who beat Portland State 56-14. As for our two teams that are out, Nebraska and Northern Illinois, who both suffered losses this previous week.
The MLB playoff pictures.
Yeah, we have a few games here. These are as of Monday. If these were as of Tuesday, there'd be a few more clinches to be talking about. But yeah, these are as of Monday. As mentioned from the previous episode, I have to get these slides ready a day prior to recording. But yeah, let's start. In the East of the American League, Yankees have clinched a playoff spot and lead Baltimore by 6 games. And with one more win, which as of the time recording they have gotten that win, they will have clinched the division, which they obviously won, as I just mentioned. So their division is actually clinched now. As for the Central, Guardians lead by 7.5 games, meaning they've already clinched their division. Detroit looking for that playoff spot potentially as a wild card. Same with Kansas City. And in the West, Astros lead by 4 games, but with a win today, which actually did happen, they have officially clinched their division over the Mariners.
Mm.
In the National League, in the East, we have Phillies leading by 5.5 games. They have clinched the division.
Mm. Yeah. Whoever who has like the second and third and fourth on all of them are eliminated from the playoffs.
Pretty much. Everyone in the National League is out except for the 3 wildcard spots and also one more team. We'll mention those guys in a second, but we have to talk about our division leaders. The Central Brewers are up 9.5 games, so they've already clinched their division over the Chicago Cubs and other names like the Reds,
Are eliminated.
who are eliminated, yes. And the Dodgers are leading the West, clinched a playoff spot. Not necessarily the division yet. Padres are still lingering.
And then you have San Francisco Giants eliminated.
I don't want to talk about it, but
I'm
yes.
surprised you didn't have the eliminated symbols on here.
That'd be a lot of teams that have to do it with, so
Uh,
yeah. Because in the wild card right now, um, as of these ones, Baltimore, Detroit, and Kansas City would clinch a wild card spot in the American League. However, they're still trying to win it over Minnesota, Seattle, Boston, and Tampa Bay, who are all teams that could still make it in the AL. As for the NL, the Padres, Mets, and D-backs are currently in wild card position, but the Atlanta Braves are the last team left that are not in right now that can still get in.
yeah.
And speaking of eliminated teams, we also have the defending World Series winners, the Texas Rangers, who are eliminated as well.
Moving on. Go ahead, Tony.
The WNBA playoffs, these playoffs have started yesterday, and they play games very fast, it seems, because we've already had 6 out of potentially minimum 8 games of the first round. So let's look at this bracket. We have the Liberty winning 2 games now against Atlanta. They have made it to the next round. Aces 2-0 swept the Seattle Storm. So they are moving on to the next round. So the semifinals on the left side will be the New York Liberty taking on the Las Vegas Aces. On the other side, we have the Minnesota Lynx up 1-0 against the Mercury, and the Connecticut Sun up 1-0 against the Fever. By the time this video is out, the Fever and Sun will be playing, and the Mercury and the Lynx will be playing, and we'll see if they get 2-0 swept or if they force a Game 3, which will be on Friday if needed. As for the Premier League, here's the update after match week 5. We have a few changes. Starting off, Manchester City still in first, 4-1-0. They actually drew this week to Arsenal, who we'll mention in a second. Liverpool and Aston Villa are 4-0-1. Arsenal, as I just mentioned, is 3-2-0. Chelsea and Newcastle are 3-1-1. Brighton and Nottingham Forest are 2-3-0. Fulham is 2-2-1. And Tottenham to round off the top 10 is 2-1-2. And continuing on, Man United is tied with the Spurs at 2-1-2. Brentford is 2-0-3. Bournemouth is 1-2-2. West Ham United 1-1-3. Leicester City, Crystal Palace, and Ipswich Town 0-3-2. They seem to always have the same record. Southampton, Everton, and Wolves all have 0 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. It's our NFL predictions current standings. And this week, Jay Lakers once again has the better record than me. Goes 10-6. I went 7-9. Yeah. Few stinkers that I lost that he won. So in total, he still has the lead at 31-17. I have 27-21.
Wow. Different records.
I got some catching up to do.
We'll find out who has the most wins and up this year. Me and him. We'll see.
Yep. But let's start talking about these week 4 games. You know what I mean? Starting with Thursday Night Football. Have the Dallas Cowboys going to New York to visit the Giants. This, in my eyes, is a must-win game for Dallas. Otherwise, they might have to hit the panic button. They are currently 1-2. Same record as the Giants, who just got a win last week. This will be Dak Prescott versus Daniel Jones. And yeah, let's see. We'll see how this goes.
Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Carolina Panthers. 0-3 taking on 1-2. We'll see what happens. See what Dalton can do with the Panthers, and we'll see what Joe Brewer can do with the Bengals.
Yeah.
I hope the Bengals can win their first game.
Yeah, in my eyes, like mentioned with the Cowboys, this is definitely a must-win for the Bengals.
They said that last week 3 must win for the Bengals, and then it happened.
Yep, but this time I feel like if they don't win this somehow, they really have to hit the panic button and be like, "What is going on with us? We're not winning games." But yeah, this is Joe Burrow versus Andy Dalton, and as
Carolina.
Yeah,
It's
as
at
mentioned,
Carolina.
yeah, at Carolina, and as mentioned, Andy Dalton, former Bengal. This is potentially a revenge game for him. You know.
Yep, we'll see.
We'll see. That'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern. But this game will be at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. It is the San Francisco 49ers hosting the New England Patriots. Both teams 1-2 right now. It will be Jacoby Brissett versus Brock Purdy. Potentially, he's day-to-day. So if not, I believe it will be Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. Because, man, the Niners have a lot of injuries. Debo's still gone. McCaffrey just went to Germany to discuss his injury with a specialist. Yeah, just a lot of injuries for the Niners.
Okay, no. We have
Next
a
is
Sunday night. I almost say Monday night. We have the Sunday night football. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The Bills are 3-0 and Ravens are 1-2. We'll see the Ravens can win their second game, or Buffalo Bills can be 4-0.
Yeah, this is Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, two great quarterbacks, both MVP caliber quarterbacks. And yeah.
Then you have one of the double hitters on Monday night. You have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Titans are 0-3, and what's the record for Miami Dolphins?
1-2.
1-2. See, the Titans can win their first game, or see, the Dolphins can win their second game.
And get to 500 on their percentage. This will be a must win for both teams here. It will be Will Levis versus, I don't know who is going to play quarterback for the Dolphins. Tua obviously will not. He is out. The guy that started, Skylar Thompson, he suffered a rib injury, as I mentioned, so he's questionable. But if not him, they still have Tyler Huntley and they still have Tim Boyle, so potentially one of those two guys.
Then you have your own Monday night. You have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Detroit Lions. The Seahawks is 3-0, and Detroit Lions is what?
2-1.
2-1. See, the Seahawks can win 4 or lose their first game. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see there. A few of these primetime games are actually like important for a team to become or to stay undefeated, rather, or potentially get their first win, like the Titans in the first Monday night game. This one will be Geno Smith versus Jared Goff, and in my eyes, I might see a defensive game here.
Really?
Yeah, the Lions defense got a lot better compared to last year. So we'll see. I don't know. For all I know, this could be a 50-20 game or something.
Then next will be our Week 4 picks.
Yeah. All right, you can start.
Thursday night, I have the Cowboys. Then Sunday games, I got the Falcons, Bears, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Jets, Philly, Cincinnati, Houston, Arizona, New Orleans, Las Vegas Raiders, Chargers, and Buffalo Bills. And then Monday night, I have Miami and Detroit Lions. Go ahead.
Gotcha. All right. Mine's a little different, I see. Still got Dallas on that Thursday game. I got New Orleans over Atlanta. Also have the Bears. Also have Minnesota and Pittsburgh. Also have the Jets. I got Tampa Bay over Philly though. Still got Cincinnati and Houston and Arizona. I got my Niners winning over New England. I have Cleveland over Vegas though. Kansas City over the Chargers, depleted Chargers team. I just, as much as I don't like saying this sentence, I like Kansas City to win this game. I don't like them. I just think they'd probably win it.
We both have Buffalo
And
Bills.
we both have the Bills. I have Tennessee actually instead of Miami. Just concerned at who's at quarterback for Miami, so I'm not 100% sure.
Mm.
And then I have Detroit over Seattle, just like you. So that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. Thanks for watching. This has been a great episode 4. I hope everyone enjoyed. And Jay, Lakers, hit him with the outro.
Don't forget to subscribe and like, put notifications on all three of my channels, his channels, Showing our Discord and all social medias will be in the description. We'll see this all next time. Yeah, before now, episode 4. I don't know why I say before. Episode 4 of the talk show, whatever you want to call this. We just call it the JOTO Show. We will be back next time. See this on next time. Bye.